This video walks through Constantinople in the 1450s, using original paintings, engravings, and Byzantine manuscripts from the period. These scenes were created by artists who witnessed this extraordinary city at a pivotal moment in history. With those images and modern reconstruction tools, we can look back and understand what Constantinople felt like in its final years as the Byzantine capital, before it became the Ottoman city we now call Istanbul. Let's begin our journey in the year 1450. Just 3 years before everything would change forever. When you approach Constantinople by sea, the first thing that strikes you is the enormity of the walls. The Theodosian walls stretch nearly 4 miles along the landward side of the city, rising in triple layers of fortification. These walls had protected Constantinople for over 1,000 years, turning back countless sieges and invasions. In this reconstruction, you can see the massive stone barriers with their towers spaced at regular intervals. The outer wall stands lower, designed to slow attackers. Behind it rises the inner wall, reaching 40 feet high with towers that climb even higher. Between them lies the Peribolos, a killing ground where defenders could trap anyone who breached the first line. Beyond the outer wall stretches a deep moat, 60 feet wide in places. The walls had never been breached by force since their construction in the 5th century. Arabs, Bulgars, and earlier Ottoman armies had all tried and failed. But by 1450, these ancient defenses were showing their age. Sections had crumbled from earthquakes. Others stood patched with rubble and wooden supports. The empire no longer had the resources to maintain them properly. As we pass through the Golden Gate, we enter a city that once held 500,000 people but now shelters between 40 and 50,000. Vast open fields occupy much of the space within the walls. Where grand estates once stood, farmers now plant vegetables and graze livestock. The population had collapsed over centuries of plague, civil war, and territorial loss. Yet Constantinople remains beautiful. The main thoroughfare, the Maze, runs from the walls toward the heart of the city. Colonnaded walkways once lined this avenue, though many columns have fallen or been scavenged for other construction. The pavement, laid centuries ago, still bears the marks of countless feet and cartwheels. The forums that dot the city tell stories of imperial glory. The Forum of Constantine centers on a great porphyry column topped with a statue of the city's founder. The Forum of Theodosius displays massive triumphal arches, though time and neglect have taken their toll. Street vendors set up their stalls around these monuments, selling bread, fish from the Bosporus, and whatever goods merchants bring from abroad. The Hippodrome stands as a reminder of when Constantinople commanded the world's attention. This vast stadium once held 100,000 spectators watching chariot races that could determine the fate of emperors. The obelisks still stand in the central spine, one brought from Egypt, another raised by Roman emperors. Rising above everything else stands Hagia Sophia, the Church of Holy Wisdom. Built by Justinian the Great 900 years earlier, it remains the largest church in Christendom. Its dome seems to float impossibly overhead, spanning 100 feet across and rising nearly 200 feet above the floor. 40 windows circle its base, filling the interior with light that makes the gold mosaics shimmer. Inside, the air carries the scent of incense. Icons of Christ, the Virgin Mary, and saints cover the walls. Though many bear scars from the devastating sack by the Fourth Crusade in 1204, when Latin soldiers desecrated the church and stole its treasures. Priests chant the liturgy in Greek, their voices echoing through the vast space. The emperor maintains a private entrance and gallery, though Emperor Constantine XI, who rules in 1450, visits less frequently than his predecessors did in better times. The Great Palace of Constantinople spreads across acres of prime land, overlooking the Sea of Marmara. Or rather, what remains of it does. This palace, built and expanded over centuries, once housed emperors in unimaginable luxury. Marble halls, mosaicked floors, private chapels, reception rooms that could hold thousands. All of this still stands, but much of it lies abandoned and falling into ruin. The harbors along the Golden Horn remain the most active part of the city. Genoese merchants from the colony of Galata, across the water, conduct most of the trade. Their ships bring grain, wine, and manufactured goods. Byzantine merchants, fewer in number than in previous centuries, deal in silk, spices, and luxury items that still command high prices in the West. The chain stretched across the Golden Horn's entrance represents one of Constantinople's last defenses. Sailors from Venice, Genoa, Ragusa, and other ports mingle in the taverns near the water. They speak different languages, but conduct business in a mixture of Greek, Italian, and hand gestures. Daily life for most residents centers on survival. The wealthy, a small group of aristocratic families and successful merchants, live in townhouses with private courtyards. Most people, however, work with their hands. Bakers rise before dawn to prepare bread, the staple of everyone's diet. Fishermen bring their catch to market. Craftsmen in small workshops produce pottery, metalwork, and textiles. Women spin, weave, and manage households. Many families rent cramped apartments in multi-story buildings that lack proper sanitation. The markets sell what the season and trade routes provide. In spring and summer, fresh vegetables from gardens within the walls. Fish year-round from the Bosporus and the surrounding seas. Meat on special occasions, pork, lamb, poultry, olive oil, honey, and wine. Bread in various qualities, from coarse barley loaves for the poor to fine wheat bread for those who can afford it. But food is often scarce. The city depends on imports, and with the empire's territories reduced to almost nothing, securing adequate supplies grows more difficult each year. Churches fill every neighborhood, serving as centers of community life. Constantinople has hundreds of churches and monasteries, though many stand half-empty or abandoned. The functioning ones, however, draw crowds. People attend liturgy, light candles, and pray before icons. They mark the church calendar with festivals and fasts. Religious processions wind through the streets on important feast days. Monasteries provide social services that the weakened state can no longer offer. They run hospitals for the sick and poor. They operate orphanages. Monks copy manuscripts, preserving ancient texts. Some monasteries have become quite wealthy through donations, owning farms and workshops that provide income. The theological debates that once inflamed Constantinople continue, though with less intensity. The union of the Eastern Orthodox and Roman Catholic churches, agreed upon at the Council of Florence in 1439, remains deeply unpopular. Most clergy and common people reject it. They would rather submit to the Turks than to the Pope. Or so some say. This division weakens the empire at a time when unity might save it. When the union was celebrated in Hagia Sophia in December 1452, much of the population stayed away, viewing the church as defiled. Beyond the walls, the situation grows more precarious each year. Ottoman territory surrounds Constantinople on all sides except the sea. Emperor Constantine XI knows the danger. He has strengthened the garrison as much as possible, stockpiled food and weapons, and sent desperate appeals to the west for help. Some aid trickles in, a few hundred soldiers from Genoa, promises of ships from Venice, encouraging words from the Pope, but nothing substantial enough to change the balance of power. The young Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II, who took the throne in 1451, makes no secret of his intentions. He built a fortress on the European shore of the Bosporus in 1452, the Rumeli Hisara, cutting off Constantinople's access to the Black Sea. His cannon founders are casting bronze guns larger than any seen before. His army drills constantly. Everyone knows what is coming, yet life continues. Merchants still conduct business. Priests still celebrate the liturgy. Families still gather for meals. Children still play in the streets. There is a strange mixture of denial and resignation. Some believe God will protect the city as he has so many times before. Others quietly make plans to flee if the worst happens. Most simply live day to day, unable to imagine anything other than Constantinople as the center of their world. The Byzantines in 1450 are not the Romans of antiquity, though they still call themselves Romans. At night, Constantinople takes on a different character. Lamps and candles flicker in windows. The streets, never truly safe, grow more dangerous. The watch patrols the main thoroughfares, but thieves and worse operate in the shadows. Most people stay indoors after dark. From the walls, guards watch for any sign of Ottoman activity. Campfires dot the landscape beyond the moat, marking where Turkish forces maintain their positions. And yet it endures, as it has endured for nearly 1200 years, since Constantine the Great founded it in 330. The walls still stand, the churches still open their doors, the emperor still governs from his palace. Constantinople remains, diminished but not defeated, proud but not foolish, hopeful but realistic about what the future may bring. This is Constantinople in the 1450s, a city of faded grandeur and persistent dignity, of ancient stones and uncertain tomorrows, of faith tested and courage yet to be proven. In 3 years, Sultan Mehmed will bring his army to these walls. Constantine XI will give his final speech to the defenders. The great siege will begin. But that story lies ahead. For now, in 1450, Constantinople still stands, as it has for over a millennium, the queen of cities, watching and waiting. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this look into Constantinople before it became Istanbul.